The best Belgian in the SPFL must be tied down. Welcome back to Fog Football. Kris Boyd has been talking about the summer ahead. We are almost into summer 25-26 season, transfers galore. You know the story, but of course, later on the day there is a Scottish Cup final. Once that's over, right? Once that's over and reviewed, it is transfer mania, and we'll properly dive into the next season. Because by God, I'm willing to put this season behind me, that's for sure. But Nico Raskin definitely stepped up to task this season, and it looks like he could be going for a lot of money if the right bid comes in for Rangers. But Kris Boyd is urging Rangers to also tie the guy down. But he's not a Belgian international. How much money is Nico Raskin worth? How much money is he worth to Rangers? How much money is he worth in a sense of wages? Lucrative wage offers are going to be getting fired out left, right, and centre from other clubs. And we'll have to wait and see what's going to go into. But, I'll give my opinion straight away, right? I think if the correct bid comes in for Nico Raskin, Rangers have absolutely got to sell, right? Unless, we make enough money from other people, which, again, don't know who those other people would be. I mean, it's like we have to learn from past mistakes. We need to make money for players, man. We're not in a position to keep passing up big bids. And obviously, there's been rumours in the past. Well, how many of them are actually true? How many of them are actually legit? Right? But we need to make it count. We really, really need to make it count. Like, Morelos, 15 million bid for Lille. China came in for him. Ryan Kent bid here, this bid there, that bid there. If there is like a 20 million bid for Nico Raskin, we need to accept it. If it's like 15, 14 in that ballpark, I still think we need to accept it. Unless we have let other players go for decent money as well. But I mean, who's that going to be at the end of the day? And I totally understand, folks. Like, I think for us to be great in the near future, I think Nico Raskin needs to be a part of that. And I know it kind of goes against everything about keeping them and letting them go, but we can't keep making the same mistakes. And it all depends on the champion. Like, that's another thing. If we get into the Champions League, then I'd say keep Raskin. If we lose him, we need the money. We really do. But Kris Boyd went on to say, and I quote, he's very important. You look at the way he finished the season scoring goals and assists. He was a tidy enough player, but can you add goals and assists? This is what Nico Raskin has done for a period of time. There have been times when you felt Rangers should have moved players, Ryan Kent or Alfredo Morelos. These guys should have moved on when they were flying. Rangers decided to keep them and they left on a free contract. It's a difficult one for Rangers. Nicolas Raskin is tied down until 2027, and you think it's a long time, but around the corner in football terms, Rangers won't want to lose him on a free, and I'm sure they'll be trying everything to get him tied down to a longer contract to give him that platform to continue his development. End of quote. Well, I mean, put it this way, for Nico Raskin, he's got 2 years left on his deal. But obviously, if you don't get rid of him in the summer, then the next possible point's January. That's 18 months. And then after that, you've only got a year. And no clubs are really going to be spending massive amount of money on a guy that's got 1 year. So I think the correct decision would be to give Nico Raskin a 1 year extension, which gives you 3 years. For all those people who can do math, I think that's the correct call. I think anything more is a bit of a risk. But yeah, Belgian international now. It's not just us that thinks he's good. He's getting put into a midfield next to some of the best players in the world. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne, literally like the best player in his position. Yeah, getting older now, he might not be anymore, but definitely still up there. Might not be number one in his position, but I think he is when he's fit. Like, I know he does pick up a lot of injuries, and all that good stuff. But Boyd then went on to say, and I quote, but at the same time, he may be in the bracket of wages which Rangers can't afford and have to move him on in the summer or January because they won't want the contract to run down. I would keep him. I think he's been very good, especially in the last few months. We've seen a player grow, lead by example, and he's been scoring goals, creating opportunities, and getting assists. He's been a real plus point for Rangers and is back to the level of when he first arrived. He's back to his best now. There's been a lot of improvement from him, and Rangers will be hoping that continues next season. End of quote. Well, I would agree in the sense that Raskin was good when he first came in, but this is definitely the best spell of his Rangers career. Like, yeah, when he came in, January 2023, him and Cantwell, they both hit the ground running and definitely added to that team straight away. But, I mean, Raskin is about 5 times the player he is then. He went through a period where Clement just didn't pick him, and then Clement all of a sudden went back to him. Which here, I'm glad that he did, and then Barry has picked up the mantle and then went with him. Because honestly, I mean, as much as I think Raskin improved this season, I think he has took massive strides forward with Barry, and it's no real surprise as people have talked about it. I mean, I'm not the first person to say it, but Barry Ferguson getting a tune out of, you know, a midfielder doesn't surprise me. Whereas he wasn't really able to really get a tune at defenders and things like that. So I can't say I'm overly shocked by it, to be honest. But he went on to speak about Egan Manny, may as well add this in. And I quote, he came in, there was part of the season where he was doing really well. You can see there's inconsistencies in his game as well. There is a talent there, and he is a young boy. It's only really his first time since he was under pressure, the demands and pressures that come with being a striker at Rangers. It can sometimes be hard to deal with, but there's been a lot of plus points to his game. I think there's a lot of improvement. We can see him to be an asset. Whether somebody wants to pay money for him or not, I don't know. He's been a good period in the season where he was doing really well. He's at a good age and we want to stay around for his own development. We don't know what manager's going to come in, what style of play. So for Rangers, there's players who may be in the wilderness, may play a big part for them next season. That's the beauty of football. End of quote. I'd say Egan Manny's like the only other player that can go for like Raskin-esque money, but even then, I don't think it's going to be. I think Raskin's definitely the guy we could get the most money for. You know, Belgian international, all that stuff, all that good stuff. But yeah, Egan Manny, I want to see him kick on next season, and we'll have to wait and see. I mean, are we going to sign another striker? I think we're going to struggle to get rid of Danilo and Dessers, which means does that free up Egan Manny to leave? But again, out of all those guys, Egan Manny's the one I don't want to leave. And I think we've nowhere near seen the best of him, despite some absolute moments of brilliance. So, aye, a big pre-season ahead. We need to get this team fired up for these Champions League qualifiers, folks. But obviously, that's a long time away yet, man. A lot of sleeps, many moons between now and then.